Line up in the morning and stare at your shoes, like meat for a gaffer to pick and to choose. With a tap on the shoulder, he gives you the sign. You can hump call all day for 2 shillings and 9. I'm telling you, Jack, life's not the same when you spend your day loading that 100-ton crane. There's 1 for to drive it, 1 for to guide, 4 to fill it.
Tonight, this is the Pearse Street launch of the Dock Workers Photographic Collection. I know you've been around different parts of the city and you're looking for a permanent home, and we wish you the best of luck in finding one.
It's an honour and a privilege to be here tonight in St Andrews and Pearse Street, and here to launch and associate myself with the Dockers Museum. And just looking around the walls of Dublin in the 40s, 50s and 60s of the dock area, and seeing men unloading ships, loading lorries, kids playing along the dock wall, small huckster shops, hall doors open. And I was just saying to Declan how things have changed in Dublin. But I think it's a great credit, and the Dockers Committee for the museum and its archives have to be saluted and commended. And I only hope that both Dublin Port, Dublin Docklands and DCC can facilitate the Dockers Museum Committee and give them their own space and their own building in the area. They deserve that. From you also to get a certificate for Cyril Deans and his family. Cyril Deans was awarded the Bravery Award many years ago. He was a great guy for jumping into the Liffey and saving people, and well known and respected in the dock area. And it was a privilege when the Dean family contacted me, and I asked the then Lord Mayor Oisin Quinn if he would honour them with a scroll in honour of their late father. That was done, and I see the scroll there on the table, and I see the light in Cyril Deans, because there was great dignity and integrity attached to that. And I think the fact that the Lord Mayor, the first citizen, Oisin Quinn, sent for the family, presented them with the scroll, and that was really a long time coming. Maybe it should have been a higher status, but at the end of the day it was recognition by the first citizen. It was a scroll, and Cyril Dean and his family is very happy.
As well as the photographs, what we found fascinating, and Christy has referred to this, is the stories that we've been given. And by far the most fascinating story is the story of William Dean's, Cyril's father. So I'm going to call on Cyril just to tell the story.
My father, he was born in 1910 in St John Rogerson's Quay. His father came to Scotland into 1825, and he came to St John Rogerson's Quay in them years and never left. But Lord be kind to him, was working a coal boat, a 10,000 ton coal boat called the Amasa Delano on St John Rogerson's Quay on the 12th of December 1947. At that size, there was 8 hatches in the ship, and my father was one winchman there. So some gas started to leak from one of the hatches, and my father, the captain, went down to see what was happening. So an alarm went out that there was someone getting gas down below in the hatch. So the captain went down. He was overcome by smoke, fumes. The first mate and the engineer, his name was John Munro, a guy called Lima, and another guy which I can't remember, but it was all there documented. Having said all that, it turned out in any way, all the dockers on the ship, they were asked for help. My father was the only one that stayed on the ship. So he got a handkerchief, put it around his mouth, and went down the ladder. He put a rope, after getting the rope, he got the rope, put it around Captain Munro's shoulders and dragged them up, which it took about 10 minutes to bring. He went down and done that for the next 2 times and brought them up, right? Now nobody came to his aid. He was just left on the deck ready to pass out. But the medical corps came, the police came, and no one would go on board. But my father and we dragged them down to the side of the ship, tried to revive them. They all ended up in St. Patrick's Dunn's Hospital, including my dad. But they survived it, and they gave me father, I think, £5, you know, and a hamper. That was when they got out of hospital 4 days later. Having said all that, he got, for doing that, he got a certificate for bravery, 2 bronze medals, and 2 certificates. But as the man said, the story doesn't end there. In 1939, we were crossing Ballybuck Bridge with my mother going for a walk. And in them days, we came from very humble backgrounds, as you probably know. And Doc Buck was very insecure. I mean, you'd had a sou for Monday and you wouldn't see it for a month till you got a job. You worked on the docks, you got paid by the day. But my father, my mother used to pawn his shoes on a Monday and get them out on a Friday. But after jumping in and saving the lad in 1939, that particular Sunday, my mum says, "What about your shoes?" He says, "Listen, Marge, I don't think we're going to get F.R. for them this week." But in 1958, he was walking up the quay, and he was walking along, and he sees a guy in the water. He jumped fully clothed in and took him out, right? He was brought to St. Patrick's Dunn's Hospital, and they saved him. His father was coming home through Spencer Dock one day at 5 o'clock on a summer's evening, and there was guys fishing there, and suddenly something happened, and there was a lifebuoy there. It all happened so fast, so my father jumped in. There's another one he saved. But overall, I can't name any man in this country that had saved so many individually and at different places. I've looked through archives of people saving people, and I have yet to come across one. And 13th was John Rogers Key. That's where we were all born, bred and buttered. And I'm very proud to say my name is Dean.
That down into a hole. Naturally enough, you could down the ladder. So what he done was that. You see, he had this like that. He can take his hands away, and he goes down the ladder. Because if he didn't, bloody thing would fall on top of him, you know. But right now, so I dig the hole and I throw it into the bucket, right? Now, if Pascal was also left-handed, he would be here, right? And the bucket would be there. Now, he would have to, what they called, work it against his chest. Across. And he'd have to turn around and do that. So to solve that problem, I would have to make sure that Pascal was right-handed and I was left. Right. So he says to him, he's laughing already, he says, "What hand are you?" And he said, "Larry." His name was Larry Hand. Even though there's a lot of stuff there, there's basically only 2 hooks here. This one known by the docker as a cargo hook. It's not what the docker would call a good hook, because what they used, or would like to use, as you can see, this is very crude, where they would like to have what there was, the maker was an Edwards. And Edwards was a man or a company that was in Liverpool, and the boys would get the sailors to bring them over, and the sailors would make a few bob on it. Put that into your belt, you twisted it on the way down, and if you watch where it goes right there, so if you bump against anything, it's not going to stab you. And you could work at something else, but then if you got something that you needed a hook for, like timber or something like that, then you could just, hope don't rip me, Sue. You could take, you see, because this is so the Edward hooks would be shiny and slippy, and you could rip it out and then just pick it up and then put it in. Because now if you put that, which is specially designed, all the little teeth in it, you put that into a sacking bag like that, then you can lift it, put it down into the rope, and the bag wouldn't be damaged. Now, this was kind of, this one here is also a bag hook, and if you notice how short it is, so a man wouldn't have, let's say, the official bag hook, but he would have this one. And you see, he put it in his hand like this, the foreman couldn't see what he had, so he was using this in stealth, if you like to put it like that, and he would lift the bag with his mate, who would be on the other side. But if they noticed that, they would stop you, because it would be doing, excuse me for 1 second. I suppose, Paddy, it would have started from 1971 when decasualisation came in, and there was rules and regulations, and health and safety was on the horizon and stuff like that. Now, mind you, having said about the health and safety, there's one very important thing about health and safety. We always, even from the inception of this state, we seem to follow the English all the time. Now, the health and safety for the ducks in England came in 1974, and we copped on in 1989. Do you know what I mean? So and then all we did was copy the damn thing. And the bad parts that were discovered by the Brits, if you like to put it like that, we didn't even have the brains to say, well, we cancel out the baddies itself. When they were taking the lagging of the half-inch and three-quarter-inch pipes down in the basement, the whole place, the civil servants, God, they had to leave the place. Now, when you imagine the docker, he's down in the hatch, there's these almighty big bags because of the weight, very light, and it would be raining down on you like snow. But the funny part about this, or not so funny, was that not one Dublin docker ever died of asbestosis. I don't know the official name, it's too long, but they always died of bronchitis, emphysema, you name it. But it was never asbestosis. Because
it's part of our history we don't know about anymore. It's what's the word? A lot of people don't know what went on at the docks. If you look around out there now, you'd never know there was a port out there, let's say 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, you know. So it's very important to have this stuff. You know, it's part of our industrial archaeology, is what they call that term, like architectural heritage, old Georgian buildings. But these are as important to me and to the community as Georgian Dublin. Although Georgian Dublin is very important, this is part of this community's heritage.
For to fill it in the darkness inside, and you'll work like a miner, shoveling coal, scraping the floor deep down in the hold. I'm telling you, Jack, life's not the same when you spend your day loading that 100-ton crane. And you think of the blacks with their catchy work songs, plotting the cotton and humming along. But you won't be singing, you just try to breathe, coughing up lumps when your lungs start to bleed. I'm telling you, Jack, life's not the same when you spend your day loading that 100-ton crane. Now to pick up your pay, there's no need to go far. They're dishing it out